Well, as you might remember from my weekly matchup show just a few days ago, I said that my next two shows would be on location from a surprise place. You know, for my shows where I have my post game with OU West Virginia this upcoming Saturday. Make sure to check that out, as well as my weekly pick show where me and the almighty Nickel pick games against the spread. Well, when it comes to picking games, when it comes to spreads, it doesn't get any better, any more popular, any more exciting than the city that I am in right now. Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right, I am in Las Vegas, and I'll be here for a few more days having a fantastic time, and yes, of course, making some side bets as well. So, thought we would do our Friday show. Normally we have it on Thursday of college football week, but we finally got the Wi-Fi ready, and we're ready to pick college football games against the spread. But before we continue, let's go ahead and review last week's picks. Sorry we don't have the graphic, but we're on location. We can tell you that, yeah, after I had that terrific week just a week ago, yeah, I came back down to earth. 5-7-3 against the spread. The Big 12 absolutely killed me. Even though I had a losing record, the coin, the nickel, didn't do much better. In fact, I made up a couple of games on the coin. It had its worst week ever, 3-9-3 against the spread. It had 3 pushes in there for both of us. So overall, I trail the coin but by just one game. The nickel is at 19-17-5 against the spread, while yours truly is at even 500, 18-18-5 against the spread. I'd like to apologize if the wind is superseding my voice. It shouldn't, because I've been told I have a loud mouth, so you should be able to hear me just fine. Now let's go ahead and go over this week's games against the spread. And of course, we are coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Saturday, Oklahoma, West Virginia. Of course, for my pick on that game, make sure to check out the weekly matchup show. Staying, though, with the Center State, as I am about 1,100 miles away from Oklahoma, even as we speak, the Cowboys of Oklahoma State undefeated against Kansas State, who's also undefeated, but Oklahoma State's ranked coming off a game in which they probably should have lost the way their offense played, but got a couple of late field goals, and a botched Texas punt helped propel victory for OSU. They're at home. That's a very good sign in this rivalry. K-State, despite being undefeated, has never won in Stillwater, not only this decade, they've never won at Stillwater this century. You got to go back to the Bill Clinton presidency in the late 90s, the last time a Kansas State team won in Stillwater. I don't think it's going to happen in this case either. So in this game, give me Oklahoma State minus the 8. Now, since we are on location and since my devices are limited, the almighty Nickel could not make it, but did provide its clips before I put it on the plane. So here are the coin selections. We'll do them game by game. By the way, the coin, I like Oklahoma State, so did the nickel. Now let's move on. Kansas against Iowa State. Boy, why am I here in Vegas? Why aren't I in Ames, Iowa? Oh yeah, that's right, because neither of these teams impressed me. But if I had to pick one or the other, I guess I'll take Iowa State. Give me Iowa State minus the 15. Somebody's got to win this game, right? And the coin, by the way, disagreed with me. It likes the Jayhawks. Texas Tech and TCU. That was last week, and it was an exciting game won by the Horned Frogs in the final minute. Can TCU continue their winning ways despite having a defense that's injury-riddled? Well, they'll have to beat Texas in order to win another one in the WL column. They're a big favorite. I think, in fact, they're too big of a favorite in this particular contest. While I think TCU will prevail, 15 points at home with a defense that's as leaky as theirs is too much. And it looks like Texas, despite losing 3 games, which they've never done in the month of September before, might have found their quarterback in Hurd. So I think Texas keeps it within 15. So give me Texas plus the 15, and the coin agrees it likes Texas too. And one more Big 12 game, Texas Tech and Baylor. You realize that the last 4 times that these two teams have played, which have all been at Jerry's World in Arlington, you realize that the over-under, I don't think it's even come close to matching these teams. As a matter of fact, these teams have averaged a grand total of 96 points against each other since 2011. I think that trend is going to be the same. So I, in this game, am not going to pick who's going to win, but I'm going to go with the over-under. It intrigues me more. It's at 88 right now. I like the over, and the nickel likes the over too. Now let's move on. SEC, Ole Miss at Florida. Boy, I tell you what, the Rebels, just like last year, off to another flying start, but they have a tough one at the Swamp against a Gator team that right now is undefeated. But this will be Florida's toughest matchup, and Ole Miss proved to me that if you can win at Alabama, you can win anywhere. So give me Ole Miss minus the 7, and the coin also likes Ole Miss as well. Alabama at Georgia, another huge SEC game down south between the hedges. But Georgia, do you realize that they do not do very well at home against teams with winning records? Bama is 4th in the country against the run. I think right now the wrong team might be favored to win this game. So give me Alabama plus the 2, but the coin likes Georgia. Another game to talk about, Minnesota against Northwestern. The Wildcats, they've been one of the surprises in college football this year, and they are giving 3.5 points. But Minnesota's not too shabby as well, even though Minnesota beat a Colorado State team that's from the Mountain West Conference. Colorado State's not a bad squad, and when you can win on the road in Colorado, that impresses me because you have to not only handle a good Colorado State team, but also handle the elements as well with a high altitude. I think Minnesota keeps it real close, so give me the Golden Gophers plus the 3.5. The coin, by the way, likes Northwestern, the Wildcats, to win. Taking a look at Iowa at Wisconsin, this is a night game, and Wisconsin does extremely well at home in conference games, especially under the lights. Jump around will be played a bunch at Madison, Wisconsin, and that'll ignite the crowd even more. So give me Wisconsin minus the 7 against the Iowa team that's undefeated, but who's Iowa really beating, right? And the coin, by the way, likes Wisconsin too. Mississippi State at Texas A&M going back to the SEC. Aggies still have not lost yet, and their defense appears to be better. I think this will be close for a while, but in the end, A&M's going to have too much athleticism. Too good of a team. Give me the Aggies at College Station minus the 6.5, but the nickel likes Mississippi State to cover. And looking at another game, as we continue to talk about the matchups, you have Arizona State at UCLA. The Bruins proved that they were the real thing by clobbering Arizona in Tucson just a week ago. That game was over before halftime. They're favored by 13.5. Arizona State coming off a bad loss to USC. I think the trend continues. UCLA with their freshman sensation, Josh Rosen, the quarterback, look for the Bruins to remain unbeaten. So give me the Bruins minus 13.5, and the coin agrees it likes UCLA. And you have Arizona at Stanford. Yeah, I think the Cardinal will probably win this game, but 14 at home is a lot. I just don't know which Cardinal team's going to show up, the one that beat USC or the one that struggled against Northwestern. I think the Cardinal win, but 14 at home. Right now, I'm not completely drinking the Kool-Aid on the Cardinal. I think they'll win, but give me Arizona to cover plus the 14, and the almighty coin likes Arizona to cover. And Arizona, we talked about Arizona earlier. Let's talk about Air Force Navy. I have to give tribute to military schools that play each other, because if it weren't for the military schools, you know, a lot of the tradition of college football from the olden era would be compromised a little bit. And plus, you know, military fighting for our rights, fighting for our freedom, you know, I will always give respect to them. So at least I can do is pick one of their games. Navy at home minus a 5.5. I think Air Force will keep it close. So give me Air Force plus the 5.5 in a game in which you're going to see a lot of running. And the coin, by the way, likes Navy. And another matchup to talk about, Notre Dame against Clemson. And this is a ball game that I think is going to really be impacted by the weather. The hurricane that's about to hit that East Coast, I think, is really going to play havoc for both teams in this particular matchup. Right now, Clemson, right now it is a pick'em game. I think Notre Dame, because of the fact that they've been more battle-tested this year, I think the Irish will come through. It'll be close, but I think it'll be one of those ugly weather-type games. And look for the Irish, though, to continue their terrific season. Clemson really didn't impress me much at all, struggling a few weeks ago at Louisville. Think it'll be close, but look for Notre Dame to win. So give me the Irish in a pick'em situation, and the coin likes Notre Dame in that particular scenario as well. And it looks like that is all the picks for this particular week. What were yours? Again, we will be back Saturday to talk about West Virginia and Oklahoma, the post